As people enter their 80s, one of the most noticeable changes is a gradual decline in cognitive speed. Tasks that once took seconds, like recalling names, solving simple problems, or responding to rapid conversations, may now take longer. This slowdown is a natural part of brain aging. The brain's neurons don't fire as quickly, and the pathways used for memory and attention become less efficient. Multitasking becomes harder, and short-term memory may falter, often leading to forgetfulness, like misplacing items or repeating stories. However, this cognitive decline doesn't mean intelligence vanishes, it simply shifts. Older adults often retain a vast wealth of knowledge built from decades of life experience. This is known as crystallized intelligence, while younger people may process new information faster. Seniors often make wiser decisions because they draw from a deep well of past lessons. They tend to see the bigger picture, avoid rash actions, and offer grounded advice based on lived realities. In fact, many elders report feeling more emotionally balanced and intellectually stable, despite the physical slowing of the brain. Their ability to manage emotions and navigate complex social situations can improve with age. This type of growth, often referred to as emotional intelligence, is closely tied to wisdom. Studies have shown that older adults are more likely to focus on positive memories and emotions, helping them maintain better mental health despite cognitive challenges. Furthermore, the elderly often develop stronger metacognitive skills, ability to think about their thinking. This means they may not process quickly, but they become more aware of how they process, which can help them compensate for slower thinking. For example, many seniors adopt strategies like note-taking, setting routines, and simplifying decisions to reduce mental overload. It's important to note that while some cognitive decline is normal, severe memory loss, confusion, or disorientation may be signs of more serious conditions like dementia or Alzheimer's disease. Regular mental stimulations such as reading, puzzles, learning new skills, and engaging in conversations can help maintain brain health. Social interaction and physical activity also play critical roles in preserving cognitive function. Once individuals reach their 80s, muscle loss, known medically as sarcopenia, becomes a major concern. This condition involves the gradual weakening and shrinking of muscle mass, which begins as early as age 30, but accelerates significantly in later years. By the time someone turns 80, they may have lost up to 30 to 50% of their muscle strength. If preventative measures weren't taken earlier in life, this muscle deterioration isn't just a cosmetic or strength issue, it directly impacts a senior's balance, mobility, and independence. With weakened muscles, everyday tasks like walking, standing from a chair, climbing stairs, or even holding objects become more difficult. The lower body, particularly the thighs and calves, is especially vulnerable. This loss affects gait stability, making seniors more prone to tripping or swaying while walking. Add in slower reflexes and reduced joint flexibility, and the risk of falls increases dramatically. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related hospitalizations in people over 80. Even a minor slip can result in fractures, especially hip fractures, which are often life-threatening at this age due to complications. During recovery, beyond physical injury, the psychological effects of falling are just as damaging. Many seniors develop a fear of falling, which leads to reduced activity, social withdrawal, and worsening balance due to inactivity. It becomes a vicious cycle. Fear leads to less movement, which leads to more muscle loss, increasing the fall risk even further. The good news is that muscle loss and balance issues can be managed or slowed down with consistent action. Engaging in strength training, even light resistance exercises or chair workouts can help seniors maintain and rebuild muscle mass. Balance training, such as yoga, tai chi, or simply practicing standing on one leg, can significantly improve stability. These exercises don't have to be intense. Even short, daily routines can deliver noticeable improvements over time. Nutrition is another key factor. Seniors often struggle with inadequate protein intake, which is crucial for muscle maintenance. Ensuring a diet rich in lean proteins like fish, eggs, legumes, vitamin D, and calcium also supports both muscles and bones. In some cases, supplements may be necessary under a doctor's guidance. Furthermore, seniors should regularly assess and modify their living environment to minimize fall hazards. This includes securing loose rugs, installing grab bars in bathrooms, ensuring proper lighting, and using mobility aids like canes or walkers when needed. Ultimately, While muscle loss and balance issues are a natural part of aging, they don't have to steal one's independence or confidence. With proactive physical activity, a supportive environment, and proper nutrition, seniors in their 80s can continue to move safely and live actively. It's never too late to start even. A small step toward strength can lead to a stronger, steadier future. As people enter their 80s, a common and often frustrating change is the slowing down of the digestive system. This decline doesn't happen overnight, but by the time someone reaches their 8th decade, the effects often become more noticeable. What was once a smooth process of eating, digesting, and eliminating now begins to slow, causing discomfort, bloating, and other gastrointestinal challenges. These issues are not only inconvenient, they can significantly affect nutrition, health, and quality of life. One major reason digestion slows is due to reduced muscle tone in the gastrointestinal GI tract. The stomach and intestines rely on a series of muscle contractions, known as peristalsis, to move food through the digestive system. As we age, these muscles lose strength and coordination, which delays food movement. This can lead to constipation, a common complaint among seniors, and an increased risk of bloating, indigestion, and irregular bowel movements. In addition, stomach acid production often decreases in older adults, a condition known as hypochlorhydriadria. While some people associate aging with too much stomach acid, the opposite is often true. Low acid levels impair the body's ability to properly break down food, especially protein, and to absorb key nutrients such as vitamin B12, iron, calcium, and magnesium. Deficiencies in these nutrients can contribute to weakness, fatigue, anemia, and even cognitive decline. The digestive system is also influenced by the slowing of enzyme production. Digestive enzymes are essential for breaking down carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. With fewer enzymes, older adults may struggle to digest certain foods they previously tolerated, such as dairy, beans, or fatty meals. This often leads to food intolerances, discomfort, and avoidance of nutrient-rich foods, which further compromises health. Medications also play a big role. Many seniors take multiple prescriptions, including drugs for blood pressure, pain, or mood. Some of these medications, like anticides, opioids, or antidepressants, can further disrupt digestive health by slowing bowel function or altering gut flora. Speaking of gut flora, the balance of gut bacteria also changes with age, potentially weakening immune defenses and affecting everything from digestion to mood. Fortunately, there are steps seniors can take to support digestive health. Eating smaller, more frequent meals can ease the workload on the digestive system. Including fiber-rich foods like vegetables, fruits, oats, and whole grains can improve bowel movements, while probiotic-rich foods like yogurt, kefir, or fermented vegetables can help balance gut bacteria. Hydration is equally important. Dehydration is a major, often overlooked cause of constipation in older adults. Regular movement, even walking, helps stimulate digestion by promoting intestinal contractions. Seniors should also speak with a healthcare provider to review medications and check for nutrient deficiencies. In summary, while digestion may slow in the 80s, it's far from unmanageable. With mindful eating habits, the right foods, regular physical activity, and medical guidance, seniors can support their gut health and enjoy mealtimes with fewer disruptions. By the time most individuals reach their 80s, sensory decline, particularly in hearing and vision, is nearly unavoidable. These changes often come on gradually, making them easy to overlook until they start significantly impacting daily life. Unfortunately, many seniors accept these changes as inevitable and fail to seek help, which can lead to social withdrawal, safety risks, and a decline in overall quality of life. Let's start with hearing loss, or presbycusis, which is one of the most common conditions affecting older adults. This form of age-related hearing loss typically affects both ears and progresses over time. It usually begins with difficulty hearing high-pitched sounds or distinguishing speech in noisy environments. Conversations may start sounding muffled, especially if multiple people are talking or background noise is present. Seniors might find themselves asking others to repeat themselves often or turning the TV volume up too high, which can strain relationships and contribute to social isolation. Hearing loss doesn't just affect communication, it has been strongly linked to cognitive decline. Numerous studies have shown that untreated hearing impairment increases the risk of dementia and depression. Why? When the brain has to work harder to process unclear sounds, it has fewer resources left for memory and thinking. Plus, when people avoid social settings because of hearing difficulties, the lack of interaction can contribute to mental and emotional. As individuals age into their 80s, one of the most commonly reported and often misunderstood changes is in sleep quality and pattern. Sleep doesn't necessarily become less important in old age. In fact, it remains essential for memory, healing, emotional balance, and immune function, but the structure and timing of sleep shifts significantly. Seniors often find themselves sleeping less deeply, waking more frequently, and getting sleepy earlier in the evening. This sleep fragmentation can be frustrating, especially for those who were once sound sleepers. There are several biological reasons for this shift. First, the body's internal clock, or circadian rhythm, changes with age. Older adults often experience what's called advanced sleep phase syndrome, where their bodies want to go to bed earlier in the evening and wake up much earlier in the morning. A person who once stayed up until 11 p.m. may now feel drowsy by 7 or 8 p.m. and be wide awake at 4 or 5 a.m. Additionally, the amount of time spent in deep sleep, also known as slow-wave sleep, decreases with age, while the time spent in lighter stages of sleep increases. Deep sleep is the most restorative phase, important for physical recovery and memory consolidation. With less deep sleep, seniors may feel less refreshed even after a full night in bed. Sleep is also frequently interrupted by health-related factors common in people over 80. Conditions like arthritis, restless leg syndrome, or chronic pain can make it difficult to stay asleep. Similarly, the need to urinate at night, nocturia, becomes more common due to changes in bladder function and the use of medications like diuretics. These repeated awakenings disrupt the natural sleep cycle, making rest feel fragmented and incomplete. Mental health also plays a role. Feelings of loneliness, anxiety, grief, or depression, common experiences in the 80s, can interfere with falling or staying asleep. For some, the quiet of nighttime may be when emotions feel most intense, leading to insomnia or racing thoughts. Despite these challenges, it's important not to normalize poor sleep as just part of aging. There are effective ways to improve sleep quality in the 80s, maintaining a consistent sleep schedule, avoiding caffeine and heavy meals late in the day, limiting screen time in the evening, and creating a calming bedtime routine can all help regulate the body's sleep rhythm. Gentle daily exercise and exposure to natural light, especially in the morning, are also known to strengthen circadian signals and improve sleep depth. Importantly, seniors should avoid excessive napping during the day, which can make falling asleep at night more difficult. If naps are necessary, keeping them short, 15 to 30 minutes, and earlier in the day, is ideal. One of the most emotionally challenging changes many people face after turning 80 is social isolation. This doesn't always mean complete loneliness or abandonment, but rather a gradual reduction in meaningful interactions, social opportunities, and emotional closeness with others. The causes are complex and often layered, including mobility limitations, loss of peers, hearing impairments, or even simply feeling like the world is moving too fast to keep up with. By the time someone reaches their 80s, they may have experienced the loss of a spouse, siblings, lifelong friends, or even adult children. These losses can leave a person feeling not only sad but also deeply disconnected. Unlike earlier in life, when new relationships were easier to form, seniors often feel that the opportunities for making new, meaningful connections are limited. Add in physical limitations, like difficulty walking, driving, or traveling, and social activity naturally becomes more restricted. Compounding the problem is the increased risk of depression and anxiety, which often go unrecognized in older adults. Isolation doesn't just impact emotional well-being, it has serious health consequences. Research has shown that chronic loneliness can be as damaging to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases the risk of heart disease, cognitive decline, weakened immunity, and even premature death. For seniors already dealing with health problems, isolation can worsen symptoms or reduce motivation to follow through on treatments and lifestyle changes. Hearing loss, vision problems, or cognitive decline can make social interactions more difficult and frustrating, leading many seniors to withdraw. They might avoid phone calls because they can't hear well, or stop attending events because they're embarrassed about forgetting names. Over time, this avoidance reinforces the cycle of isolation. Technology can help, but it's not always accessible or easy to use for those in their 80s, while video calls, social media, and messaging apps offer opportunities to stay connected. They require some familiarity and confidence. Unfortunately, many seniors didn't grow up with these tools and may feel intimidated or excluded by them. However, there are effective ways to reduce social isolation even late in life. Community centers, faith groups, senior clubs, and volunteer programs are excellent avenues for engagement. Some assisted living communities and local governments offer programs designed to bring older adults together for meals, games, classes, or support groups. Encouraging family visits, scheduled calls, or even intergenerational activities can also make a significant difference. Pet ownership, where feasible, is another powerful remedy for loneliness. Even tending to a small plant or garden can provide a sense of purpose and connection to life. One of the most critical yet often overlooked changes that occur in the body after turning 80 is the weakening of the immune system. This age-related decline, known as immunosenescence, refers to the gradual deterioration of immune function, making seniors more susceptible to infections, slower to heal, and less responsive to vaccines. What was once a simple cold or flu in younger years can now become a serious, even life-threatening illness in someone over 80. The immune system is composed of two major parts: innate immunity, the first line of defense, and adaptive immunity, the part that remembers past invaders and fights them more effectively. Both systems weaken with age. The production of T cells, a type of white blood cell crucial for fighting viruses and infections, declines, and the body's ability to produce new antibodies is diminished. As a result, infections like pneumonia, urinary tract infections, or shingles become more common and more dangerous. Furthermore, symptoms of infection in older adults can be subtle or atypical. For example, a senior with pneumonia might not develop a high fever or a severe cough, but may instead show confusion, fatigue, or a decrease in appetite. These nonspecific symptoms often delay diagnosis and treatment, increasing the risk of complications. Vaccinations, while still beneficial, are also less effective in the elderly due to the immune system's reduced ability to generate a strong response. This is why seniors often require higher dose or adjuvanted flu vaccines, and why booster doses of other vaccines like shingles or COVID-19 are recommended. Another complication of a weaker immune system is the increased risk of chronic inflammation, sometimes referred to as This low-level, persistent inflammation contributes to the progression of many age-related diseases, such as heart disease, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, and even Alzheimer's disease. Essentially, as the immune system becomes less efficient at defending against real threats, it can mistakenly remain activated, damaging the body's own tissues over time. So, what can be done? While the aging of the immune system cannot be stopped completely, lifestyle choices can dramatically influence how well it functions in the 80s. A nutrient-rich diet, especially one high in antioxidants, vitamins like A, C, D, and E, zinc, and omega-3 fatty acids can help fuel immune defenses. Staying hydrated, managing chronic diseases, and avoiding smoking or excessive alcohol also supports immune resilience. Regular physical activity, even light walking or chair exercises, has been shown to boost immune health. Sleep, which often becomes disrupted with age, is critical for immune regulation. Seniors should also avoid unnecessary stress, as chronic stress hormones like cortisol can suppress immune response. While aging brings undeniable physical and cognitive challenges, one of the most uplifting truths about entering your 80s is the rise of emotional resilience. Contrary to popular stereotypes that associate aging with frailty and sadness, many seniors report higher levels of emotional stability, contentment, and mental strength than in earlier life stages. This ability to bounce back from adversity, adapt to loss, and maintain inner peace is a key advantage of age shaped by decades of life experience, wisdom, and perspective. By the time someone reaches their 80s, they've often weathered numerous storms, career ups and downs, relationships gained and lost, family challenges, health setbacks, and the passing of loved ones. These life experiences don't harden them, they strengthen their emotional muscles. Older adults typically develop a sense of acceptance and maturity in how they deal with life's inevitable disappointments. This resilience doesn't mean the absence of pain. Rather, it reflects the capacity to carry pain without being overwhelmed by it. Another important factor in this resilience is a shift in priorities. With age, people often stop sweating the small stuff, trivial concerns that might have caused stress in earlier years' career competition. Social status, peer validation, to lose their grip, seniors become more focused on meaningful relationships, gratitude, and moments of joy. This internal recentering naturally leads to greater emotional balance and fewer mood swings. Psychological research, SUP,